I'll give you a minute to come in. Be awesome to have a force of people here. And I want to just remind people of a few little kind of announcements. We got some great info and tables over there. Check them out before you go. When we're marching, we're going to wear black armbands, so grab yourself an armband before we march, and you can put that on. Get a friend to help you put it on. We have 2 petitions here that are really important. One of them is for everybody. It's SB1. It's to referendum SB1, the Education Destruction Act. Let's tell them we don't want that. Let's get it on the ballot, and then let's make sure we referendum that when it gets on the ballot. And if you are a City of Columbus resident, we're asking for you to sign the Columbus Safety Collective petition. It's a really great petition. It is to establish a non-police emergency response team in the City of Columbus. So when folks are having a mental health issue or something else, instead of having the police come, which can be dangerous for everybody, let's have some trained mental health experts respond to that crisis instead. So make sure you sign both petitions before you go. We're excited about them. Let's thank the people that are there with the petitions. But all you folks that are over there by the tables, as we get started, if you can come on in, we really appreciate it, so we can all be part of this together. We also have some signs if you need signs, and we have signs that you can write on the back. I love your signs. Everybody show me your signs. Oh my goodness. Dump Trump. No kings. Democracy, not kleptocracy. That's what I'm talking about. Save America. 8647. Hands off. Fair elections. Mad scientist smells like fascism. That's right. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to ask one more time for folks at the tables to come on over. Come on over and join us, and we can get started here. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. We really appreciate it. I thank you to everyone who worked to put this together. It's a lot of work. Thank you to everyone who's helping out today. We really appreciate you. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, everybody. Come on over, folks. Come on over and join us. Let me have a massive crowd right in front of me here so I feel very powerful. It does, that's right. I want to thank everyone who chipped in to donate for this awesome sound system, and thank you to Brian for this fantastic sound system. I know you can all hear me. Thank you to Common Cause Ohio, who helped us get insurance for this event. Yes, awesome. Common Cause Ohio and their fearless leader, Catherine Terser, who's over there helping us. Thank you so much. Thank you to Heritage Interpretation, who are helping us here as well. Make sure to visit our tables before you leave. There are noisemakers for kids, there are armbands, there are t-shirts, and also don't forget that we have 2 more rallies today. 2 more rallies today. Your work is never done. We have a weekly rally at the Easton Tesla dealership. That's 4:30 to 5:30. Take down Tesla. Take down Tesla. Deport Musk to Mars. That's what I say. So 4:30 to 5:30 every week at the Tesla dealership. And today we also have another rally, another protest. Both of our senators, who we never see, who never respond to us, who never do anything for us, both of them are attending a Christian virtues conference at the Hilton. And we're going to be outside protesting from 4 to 7. So that's at 402 High Street, the Columbus Convention Center. Head on over there, and we're going to protest Moreno and Husted and tell them they need to listen to us. They need to put an end to this nonsense. So please help us out there. Oh, it is windy. We are experiencing some wind. We might have some of our helpers come up and actually hold these signs. So if you are on our helping team, come on up and hold a sign. One more thing to remind you about. We have a program for this event, and you can access it by going to our link tree. I put the URL on here. It's basically linktr, so linktree, but it's linktr.ee/Indivisible Central Ohio. And if you go there, the top link has a program, and then you'll have the lyrics to the songs, you'll hear about the speakers, you'll have information about our march, you'll have information about getting connected to us. So please go ahead and pull that up. And it also has a link to donate to Mid-Ohio Food Collective, because we're out here fighting our government that is breaking our democracy, but we also want to support our community here in Columbus. So it's important for us that we make a positive impact on our community. So please go ahead and donate to Mid-Ohio for us. So without further ado, I'm going to pass this off to Meryl Neiman, who's from the Ohio Progressive Action Leaders, and she's going to introduce our topic for you today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. As Mia mentioned, my name is Meryl Neiman. In addition to volunteering locally with Indivisible Central Ohio, I'm the co-founder of Ohio Progressive Action Leaders, OPAL, which is a coalition of grassroots group leaders from across the state. Thank you so much for coming. I am gratified to see all of you here. Give yourself a round of applause for taking time out of your Saturday to make a difference. Whoop, yeah. And you're not alone. So in addition to this event, I'm proud to say there are 16 of these events happening in Ohio today. It's Mother's Day weekend, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. There is no better way to honor your mother and to express your love and concern for your children and for all future generations of Americans than to speak up about the threats posed by the Trump regime. It's often been mothers at the vanguard of social justice movements, whether it be the mothers of Plaza de Mayo, Argentina, marching the plaza silently on behalf of their disappeared children, or the mothers of children of police killed by police here in Columbus. Most recently, one of the congresswomen who wrapped themselves around the mayor of Newark to try and protect him from the masked ICE officials who arrested him without cause said, "It was our mama bear instinct." So the power of our love gives us courage, and we need that courage now. Growing up Jewish, I felt the specter of the Holocaust in a very personal way. I remember as a child poring through books and articles, trying to understand how such horrific events could have occurred. How could the Nazis have been so evil? But even more than that, the question that haunted me was, how could millions of people have allowed that evil to grow and fester? How could Germans have elected someone like Hitler in the first place? How could they have participated, condoned, enabled, or ignored his escalating brutality and chilling extermination of 6 million Jews and countless others? How could Europeans in multiple countries not have resisted harder and sooner? Did you used to ask the same kinds of questions? And like me, as our world shifts around us, are you beginning to untangle these hard answers? because we all know it is shifting. That's why we're here today, to talk about what has changed, what is being undermined, what is being distorted and purposefully broken on a daily, even hourly basis. We know this country has many flaws and has never been fair to us all, but the government that we once saw as a lever to bend that arc towards justice is now being commandeered to crush dissent, hurt and punish Trump's perceived enemies, and bully and bribe law firms, the media, and corporations. Trump, yes, and universities, excellent. Trump has unleashed an extraordinary torrent of purposeful harm in such a short time. It's overwhelmed us all as intended. How do we respond? First, we need to put words to what we are seeing. We need to describe what's happening. A lot of people are scared of the F word, fascism. I get it. It scares me as well, and it feels crazy. How can we seriously be talking about fascism in the United States, our country, a country founded by its opposition to tyrannical rule? Here's a definition, though, of the word that popped up when we put it into Google. Fascism is a far-right political ideology characterized by ultranationalism, authoritarianism, and militarism. It prioritizes the nation over the individual, often through a centralized dictatorial government and the forcible suppression of opposition. Key features include a strong emphasis on national unity, materialism, economic self-sufficiency, and the suppression of individual rights and freedom. These are the signs of fascism: authoritarianism, nationalism, militarism, suppression of dissent, cult of personality, economic control, social engineering, and scapegoating. As we hear from speakers, let's keep those words in mind. Thank you.
All right, so I'm now going to invite our first speaker, Diane Bailey, to come up. Diane Bailey is the Civil Rights and Equity Coordinator for the Communications Workers of America District 4 and has been with CWA a member for over 40 years. She's the first woman elected president of the Central Ohio AFL-CIO Labor Council. She's a member of the National and Franklin County NAACP and active with the Poor People's Campaign. For over 4 decades, Diane has stood up for workers' rights because they're human rights. And with Diane at the wheel, you will never have to worry about your hoods or your ships. Motherhood, sisterhood, brotherhood, neighborhood, mentorship, stewardship, friendship, and leadership. Let's give her a big welcome.
Thank you for that great announcement. I want to start out by saying, when we fight, and I want you to say we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. All right, thank you. Good afternoon. First, let me wish all the mothers, aunts, grandmothers that have taken the role of motherhood an early happy Mother's Day. When I heard what the theme was for this event, it made me think about the many women who didn't just talk about it, but they took action. I think about Harriet Tubman, who was born in slavery and took many dangerous trips in the South, risking her life every time. She did it because she was dedicated to the cause of freedom. I think about Rosa Parks, who feared for years and fought against racial injustice, who decided that she would no longer sit at the back of the bus. Enough was enough. I think about Maya Angelou, who dealt with racial sorrow, poverty, childhood trauma. She didn't sit quietly about the things she dealt with. She touched so many of us, through her poems and civil rights activism. And then there was Shirley Chisholm, whose determination showed how we as women can break down barriers. Her actions broke the political glass ceilings when she was the first African American woman to run for President of the United States of America, and the first Black woman to be elected to Congress. These are just a few of my sheroes. So I ask each one of you women here today not to talk about it, be about it, take action, bring another sister along to the journey with you. And let us all stand together and fight. Stay vigilant against racism and fascism and any attacks on our democracy. Sometimes our journey isn't easy. However, together we will succeed. And let me end with one of my famous quotes from Audre Lorde. She said, "When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid." Thank you.
Thank you so much. There's some incredible sheroes that she is talking about. And I think that's a really important point. These times are scary, and there's reasons to be afraid, but we have to lead with courage, and we have to look to our history, our true history, and be inspired by it. Actually, that makes me want to practice a chant with you guys. How about this one? You guys do this along with me. Love, not hate, makes America great. Love, not hate, makes America great. Love, not hate, makes America great. Thank you. And one more. Let's try this one. It's a bit longer. Rights rolled back, we say no. Watch us rise, watch us grow. Rights rolled back, we say no. Watch us rise, watch us grow. Rights rolled back, we say no. Watch us rise, watch us grow. That's right, we've got to grow this movement. All right, I'm going to introduce our next speaker. This is my neighbor and friend, Mitch Lerner. He's a professor of American history at OSU. He's a faculty fellow at the Mershon Center for International Security Studies, director of the East Asian Studies Center at OSU, and the most recent ex-president of the Society for Historians of American Foreign Relations. Mitch.
Thanks. Can you all hear me? So I'm a teacher. I like to stand and I like to walk around. I'm not going to stand still. Thank you all for coming. Let me first say the most important thing, and that's thank you to the most critical people who are here today, and that's all of you. Thank you for coming out to make your voices heard. I know that it's Mother's Day weekend, and no doubt you all have family commitments and other obligations, but you're here today, and you're here to defend truth, and you're here to defend democracy, and you're here because you know what's at stake, and you're worried about the future. I'm worried about the future. In fact, I'm terrified about the future. But you know what gives me some solace? It's looking out and seeing all of you out here in the crowd today. People who are willing to sacrifice, willing to fight, willing to stand up for our democracy, willing to ensure that our democracy, our cherished democracy, of the people, by the people, for the people, continues to exist for our children and our grandchildren and our future. Now, I'm here to speak about the future, but I'm a historian, and that means I need to dig into the past. So let me tell you two quick stories. One of them you'll be kind of familiar with, one of them you've never heard of. But taking them together, I think, embodies the fundamental threat to democracy that brings us all here today. The first story is from a book that most of you have probably heard of. It's written by George Orwell, and it's called 1984. How many of you have read 1984? If you haven't read it, don't worry about it. The Trump administration will make sure we're all living in it soon enough. The hero of 1984 is a guy by the name of Winston Smith. Smith works for the government in the Ministry of Truth. And the Ministry of Truth is just a government propaganda agency. And Smith's job is to rewrite history. He literally spends his day cutting people out of historical photos and pasting other people in. Or he rewrites text and headlines from newspapers. Or he falsifies government documents and government records. And he does it all to advance the government's position, no matter how horrible it is, and to manipulate the people so they continue to support the government. That's right, Winston Smith worked for Fox News. But Smith's job exposes him to history, and it exposes him to the truth. And like all of you here today, the truth inspired him to ask questions about his government and to doubt the answers that he was getting. And for these doubts, he's caught and he's tortured. And during the torture session, his tormentor quotes a party slogan at him and then makes him repeat it back. And if you remember nothing else from today's event, I hope you'll remember this slogan, because the government official tells him, if you control the past, you control the future. If you control the past, you control the future. And that's what this government wants. It wants to control education. It wants to control the judicial system. It wants to control science. And it wants to control history itself, to shape the way society thinks, to ensure it stays in power and control. And that brings me to my second story. And here's the one none of you have ever heard of. Up until very recently, I was on a federal government committee created by Congress more than 3 decades ago called the Historical Advisory Committee. We call it the HAC, Historical Advisory Committee. And the HAC consists of a really small group of prominent historians who work with the State Department to declassify government records. The HAC's job, simply, is to ensure that the government provides an accurate and objective account of the past, one that allows the people to hold the government accountable for what it says and does. The HAC, in short, plays a really small but important role in making sure that 1984 doesn't happen here. At least, it did until last week, when the Trump administration fired the entire committee. That's right. That means no more pesky demands for government transparency. No more guardrails to prevent the government from using the past to control the future. No more loud voices demanding accountability and respect. Now, I know this sounds like a small thing. Right, on the surface, the elimination of one small committee that none of you have ever heard of pales in comparison to the atrocities we hear coming out of Washington, D.C. on a daily basis. The deportation of innocent people. The destruction of social programs that keep families intact and keep children alive. The constant assault on the very basic and fundamental liberties that define us as Americans and as members of a free society. But I ask you to put the termination of the HAC into the context of the administration's other actions. Actions designed not just to control what we do, but control what we think. We live under a government that's banning books that don't fit with the agenda of right-wing extremists. We live under a government that's eliminating scientific agencies that track climate change or that endorse proven medical science. We live under a government that attacks judges and lawyers who dare to defend the Constitution and encourages violence against media outlets that dare to report the facts. We live under a government that's defunding public schools and universities because they dare to have the courage to teach people the realities of America, past and present, good and bad. And yes, we live under a government that, as I have seen with my own eyes, is trying to control the past. But there's one thing the administration isn't counting on. There's one thing that's going to make sure 1984 doesn't happen here, and that thing is you. Because what do we do when fascism is on the rise? We organize. What do we do when fascism's on the rise? What do we do when fascism is on the rise? What do we do when fascism is on the rise? That's right. We organize. We organize to defend democracy for us, for our children, for our friends and neighbors, for people we've never met, and for future generations of Americans, proud and free Americans. And I'm going to turn the mic over to a bunch of people who are going to tell you exactly how we're going to do it.
See, that's what I'm talking about. When fascism on the rise, what do? That's right. When our rights and freedoms are under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. When our rights and freedoms are under attack, what do? That's right. Okay, I am now going to invite the Columbus Women's Chorus up, and Sheena Phillips is going to introduce. They are going to sing a couple of relevant songs for us. Welcome, so come on up. No idea how to do this.
Okay. Thanks. Yes, it is the afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. This is actually not the entire Columbus Women's Chorus. The Columbus Women's Chorus has about 80 singers, but these are the people who wanted to show up today and weren't involved with early Mother's Day commitments. The first song we're going to sing is called Resilience. It was written by a woman called Abby Bettinis. Thanks. And the next song is called Sisters, You Keep Me Fighting. It's probably written about 25 years ago, but it's still scarily relevant.
Sisters, you
Thank you. We're going to be back in a little while with an audience participation song.
Thank you guys so much. Yes, they're coming back shortly. And right now, we're going to have our very own Ann Schroyer, who's going to talk to us and tell us what's going on.
Hello. All right, I always have to test the mic because I'm loud on my own usually. Thank you all for being here. So just a reminder, what makes it fascism? The recipe's right here. We got authoritarianism, nationalism, militarism, suppression of dissent, not today, cult of personality, social engineering, economic control, and scapegoating. All ugly words. So when we get to certain parts, I'll ask you a question, and your answer is going to be, not on our watch. Right? Okay, 100%. Okay, so we have had lawful residents disappeared from our streets by masked men for writing an op-ed. Ramisa Ozturk was just released yesterday after 45 days of unlawful detention. Woo! No crime but writing her thoughts. Trump takes power from Congress to keep for himself. He fires thousands of our fellow Americans, neighbors, friends, family with the wave of his hand. And arresting a judge, a mayor, and disappearing legal residents and others to a gulag prison, and with plans for moving some to Libya as well. And now Stephen Miller wants to get rid of habeas corpus. This administration wants to claim Greenland, the Panama Canal, and Canada in a spree of nationalist expansionism. Trump pulls the U.S. out of treaties, uses tariffs as a blunt force weapon, and trashes our strongest allies who will not kiss the ring. Will we let these authoritarian and nationalist plans continue? Not on our watch. Militarism on display with even more planned military spending while cutting all aspects of the budget except the military and ICE. Guns everywhere, policy renewed, guns given back to domestic violence abusers. A taxpayer-funded boondoggle of a military parade is planned for the autocrat's birthday. We will be here in Columbus instead, marching in the Pride Parade. Be here. The suppression of dissent is everywhere. Law firms targeted and forced into extortionist-esque deals. Our universities and public and private threatened with government takeovers, vital research funding cut, all if they don't capitulate. Our media outlets cowed. Ever wonder why the protests don't get covered with the news? Will our Constitution be ripped asunder? Not on our watch. The cult of personality around this president is cartoonish. Muscle-bulging Photoshop projects to make Trump the Pope, Rambo, and even a sleeveless, red-sabered Sith Lord, not a Jedi. Some evangelists called him the second coming of Christ in a bastardization of the Beatitudes, where blessed are the narcissists leads the page. Trump has been engaging in social engineering to mold us all into his worldview. This is why there's a coordinated attack on public universities at the federal level and in states like Ohio, coordinated, trying to privatize education to control the message, limiting our access to unbiased media with attempts to cut our funding to NPR and PBS, and leaning on oligarch-owned media companies to change personnel to sycophants. Will sycophants and oligarch media and educators steal our minds? Not on our watch. The economic control that Trump and his oligarch friends are trying to wrench from the people, that's us, by destroying our federal agencies and services and offering up contracts to the private oligarchs to control and profit after every facet of our lives. And the tactic that hurts the most to many of us, the scapegoating of our trans family members, our immigrant neighbors, our LGBTQ community, our women, our Black and brown and Asian families, our Jewish friends, our Muslim neighbors, us. Othering our people, dehumanizing our people, targeting our people. All this hateful rhetoric used to divide us, to distract us from the fascist core of the Trump administration. Targeting our people, our community, our families with impunity? Not on our watch. People kidnapped off our streets, not on our watch. The end of due process in America, not on our watch. Books banned and removed from libraries, not on our watch. Trump defying court orders, not on our watch. Will they silence our voices? Not on our watch. And will we let this stand? Not on our watch. Thank you all very much for being here. We need to stick together, not on our watch. Thank you.
The chorus is going to come back for one more, but I wanted to just let you know we have a hashtag for today, hashtag not on our watch. So if you are sharing photos, videos, clips, anything, please use that hashtag and people will be able to follow it. Hashtag not on our watch.
This next song has a message which some of the speakers have already given you, that we and you are the ones that are here to act, and it's up to us. The song is called We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For. It was written by Bernice Johnson Reagan, who's one of the singers in the group Sweet Honey in the Rock, which you may know, and it was written in solidarity with the anti-apartheid struggle many years ago, but it's still so relevant. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So this is what you guys can sing. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. If you've got a higher voice, we are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. Thanks so much.
One more round of applause for the choir. All right. Can you believe we just sang an anti-apartheid anthem on the day that Trump's refugee Afrikaners are arriving from South Africa? A little bit of irony there. I want to introduce somebody. I wanted folks to hear directly from somebody who knows what this is about, someone who understands what it's like to live under fascism, who has had that experience and that connection. Eva Tibor arrived in the U.S. in the late 50s after spending time in a refugee camp. She grew up in Miami, Florida, and she's lived in Columbus since 1973, and she's written a letter to tell us something that we do not want to experience. This is what we are trying to make sure does not happen here in the United States. Eva, thank you.
Hi there. Wow, this is hard. My name's Eva Tibor, and I'm an immigrant. I'm the child of two Holocaust survivors. I'm the daughter of brave parents who fled Soviet-controlled Hungary in 1956. My parents lived through one of the darkest times of the 20th century. They lived through and survived World War II and survived the Holocaust. My father was taken away as a young man of 20, a young man who had already experienced a world filled with anti-Semitism, into the slave labor force. The slave labor force was created by the fascist government of Hungary, allies of Nazi Germany, to systematically murder Jewish men of draft age. My father lived through hard labor, typhus, starvation, the bitter cold of Siberian prisoner of war camps in the Soviet Union. My father experienced and witnessed the worst that humanity brings to the world when the dark forces of oppression and authoritarianism take over. He returned home to find out that there were worse things than starvation, hard labor, disease, and being in constant company with those who hate you by virtue of who you are, a Jew. My father came home to find that his parents had been murdered in Auschwitz and that one of his two brothers, Tibor, had been murdered by the Germans at a labor camp in Hungary, giving aid to the sick and dying while a prisoner himself. My father burned with hatred, but he chose not to let that hatred fester and grow. He knew it would never bring back his parents, his brother, his uncles, his aunts, and cousins. He lost more than I can fathom. My mother survived living in the ghetto in Budapest, established by the Hungarian fascist regime to concentrate Jews and ultimately send them to Auschwitz. My mother suffered brutality I will never know about. My parents survived a darkness. They met and began their lives together. They had my brother and me. Hungary was a Soviet bloc country, post-World War II, an authoritarian regime. In October of 1956, the Hungarian people unsuccessfully revolted, but my brave parents decided to flee the darkness, into the darkness, so that their children would know freedom. They fled with nothing, not knowing where or whether they would make it to the light. They walked out of Hungary under search towers with a 5-year-old son and a 1.5-year-old daughter. No money, no belongings, just the clothes on our backs. We crossed the North Atlantic on a U.S. naval ship called the General Leroy Eltinge. And on January 27th, 1957, my parents saw the Statue of Liberty and knew that freedom and tolerance was what the future held for their children. I am forever grateful and in awe of my parents. They were immigrants. They worked hard as immigrants do. They wanted to be a part of the American dream. Not the dream of a home and a car, though that did come, but the one that can't be quantified so easily. The one that has to do with freedom of the mind and freedom of the spirit. Just down the Scioto Mile is a sculpture created by my father, Alfred Tibor, and it's called Freedom. It's a human figure releasing a bird. My father was that bird. My father was forever grateful to America. He and his wife and children were able to live like that bird, free. My parents, if they were still alive today, would be frightened by the dark forces in power. They would not, however, be silent. My father would be creating work and would be sharing his story. I am part of an amazing arts service organization created by David Brown, the exceptional David Brown, called the Harmony Project. Yes. Harmony Project's community choir of close to 500 voices gave a concert a little over a week ago. The concert was called the Concert for Humanity. We sang these very prescient words. Speak louder than the words before you. Give them meaning no one else has found. The role we play is so important. We are the voices of the underground. We, you and I, are unfortunately now the voices of the underground. Thank you for listening.
Let's try another chant. No hate, no fear. Fascists are not welcome here. No hate, no fear. Fascists are not welcome here. No hate, no fear. Fascists are not welcome here. No hate, no fear. Fascists are not welcome here. How about this? O-H-I-O, fascist bullies have got to go. Sorry. O-H-I-O, fascist bullies got to go. O-H-I-O, fascist bullies have got to go. O-H-I-O, fascist bullies have got to go. All right, so we're going to do one more sing-along, and then we're going to read one more letter, and then we're going to do our march. So we're coming to the end of our program here. I'm going to introduce Elisa Friedman, who's going to tell you, if you look at that link tree, you can get the lyrics to this and sing along, but there's a chorus that's super easy, so we should all be able to follow along. Elisa, here she is.
Hey, everybody. This isn't the first time or place where we've had to have the people rise up against fascism. And Woody Guthrie wrote a song about this. It's called All You Fascists Bound to Fail. And that's basically what the whole chorus is. So let's just go through it line by line so you can sing along with me whether you've got the lyrics up or not. First line is, all you fascists bound to lose. Let's try that together. All you fascists bound to lose. Next line, almost the same, just goes down at the end. All you fascists bound to lose. Third line, same as the first line. All you fascists bound to lose. And then it finishes off, you bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. So let's just try the chorus one more time all the way through. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. You bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Yeah, you guys sound great. So I'm gonna start with the verses. Just sing along with me. It's pretty simple to pick up as you go along, okay? I'm gonna tell you fascists sure might be surprised. There's people in this world and we're getting organized. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. Now you, all you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. across the nation, marching side by side. We're marching in the streets, standing up for all our rights. You bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. Everybody, aw, you fascists bound to lose. Aw, you fascists bound to lose. Aw, you fascists bound to lose. You bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Hatred cannot stop us. This one thing we know. Your tax cuts for the richest and greed have got to go. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Aw, you fascists bound to lose, bound to lose. Aw, you fascists bound to lose. Aw, you fascists bound to lose. You bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Going into battle, voices raised as one. We're taking back our liberty before this battle's done. You bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. Everybody, aw, you fascists bound to lose, bound to lose. Aw, you fascists bound to lose. Aw, you fascists bound to lose. You bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Again. Aw, you fascists bound to lose, bound to lose. Aw, you fascists bound to lose. Aw, you fascists bound to lose. You bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose.
All right, thank you, Elisa. Woo! All right, I want to make sure everybody knows about the Tesla rally every week. Easton Tesla dealership, 4:30 to 5:30. We don't want Elon Musk messing with our government or any of his Doge people, whatever he says that he's doing. We're out there protesting the takeover of our government. We have another protest today at the Hilton on High Street at the Convention Center. Our missing senators, Moreno and Husted, are going to be there sucking up to a hate group, the Center for Christian Values. So make sure you get over there today from 4 to 7. That's important. Really, we want you to subscribe to our newsletter and read it and make sure that you know all the things that are going on every week, all the protests, all the actions that you can take. All right, I'm going to now read you a letter that was delivered to me in person by somebody who has experience living under fascism. You'll see that it's a handwritten letter, and it'll explain why at the end of the letter. It is estimated that there are about 60,000 political prisoners currently jailed in Egypt. Some are jailed for joining a political party, a protest, or even for posting something on Facebook. In 2016, the body of a young Italian researcher was found with obvious scars and injuries from torture. Torture is common throughout the prisons. Forced disappearances are also quite common. And so if you ask what it is like living under an authoritarian regime, it's fear, paranoia that you or your loved ones will be the next ones to be imprisoned, disappear, or be tortured to death. Fear, intimidation from joining a protest, political party, or post the wrong thing on social media. Fear, uneasiness that they are always watching you. Fear, submissiveness, that there is nothing you can do to change anything. Fear, hypocrisy, as you suck up and flatter the ones on top so that you can feel protected. Fear, denial, as you run the rat race to give your family a comfortable lifestyle as if there was nothing to fear. Fear, hesitation to write this on a laptop in case an electronic trail would lead them to you. Fear, fear, fear. That is what it's like. Anonymous. The person who wrote that letter is just like you and me, but they've experienced living under an authoritarian fascist regime. We're not there yet, but you know that we are heading in that direction. It's been less than 4 months since Trump was inaugurated, less than 4 months, and look at how much has changed. There is fear right now. I can tell you, I know, because I've tried to get federal employees to come up and speak. People are afraid to come and speak on this stage. Immigrants are afraid. Federal workers are afraid. Teachers are afraid. Scientists are afraid. Academics are afraid. Trans people are afraid. Black and brown people, so many people who are being targeted are afraid, and they're afraid for a reason. They're not making it up. They're afraid because people are being fired, taken off the streets, deported. The fear is 100% justified. Does this feel like America to you? No. It doesn't. It doesn't. It should not. And you should never get used to that feeling. We should never accept this. This is not normal. This is not our country. We should not have to live in fear for speaking our minds or doing our jobs at all, ever. I don't think we could even have imagined that it would be like this. A year ago, could you imagine people being afraid to speak out and say what's happening around them? I can't imagine it. The water in the pot is getting hotter, people. I personally don't want to go out like a parboiled frog, and I hope that you don't either. So don't allow yourself to get used to the temperature of the water, no matter how slowly it gets hotter. Do not accept it. Keep feeling the urgency of the moment. None of this is normal, and it's not okay. We're Americans. We were born saying no kings. This country was born saying no kings. We won't bow down and allow ourselves to be governed by a dictator bully and his billionaire donors and friends. It's not in our nature. How many of you have heard of the 3.5% rule? That's right. We need social science and history has told us that we need 3.5% of the population to come out into the streets in order to defeat an authoritarian government. Trump's popularity is underwater. He's way far more than 3.5% of the population share our values. They want to protect our democracy, but we need them out on the streets with us. So what do? We have to speak up. We're here, we're the ones here, we're doing the work, but we have to spread it farther than us. We have to grow this movement. Everybody here has to find 5 people that you bring to the next event that you say, I know you agree with me, but you have to do something. You have to come out and stand against this illegitimate government. So we have to speak up. We have to spread the word. We have to make sure our friends, our neighbors, our co-workers, our family, they don't hide from what's happening. We have to share our thoughts on social media and by email. We have to talk about it all the time. We can't be afraid to talk about politics at the dinner table or the water cooler. It's hard. I know you're not going to believe it, but I'm actually shy. I find it difficult. I'm shy. I'm really shy. I find it difficult to talk to people about politics, but we have to step up and we have to do it even if it's outside of our comfort zone and even if it's outside of their comfort zone. It's too important. We have to do it. So no more polite conversations with friends as they complain about Trump but keep on living their lives as if nothing is at stake, nothing is at risk. We have to ask them to join us, and we have to ask them to come to a protest, to prepare to support a nationwide workers' strike or boycott. We have to start recruiting. Bring your friends with you next time, because one protest will not be enough. This amount of people will not be enough. One day of not shopping online will not be enough. We have to keep pushing and growing if we want to defeat Trump's fascist regime. The fear is real, but still we need to lead with courage. We need to do the things that are difficult. What we're doing is hard, but it's worth it, because living in a fascist state is not a future that any of us want for ourselves, for our children, for our friends, for our family, for our communities. Ask the people who've lived it. We don't want that. We do not want that in this country. So we say we'll do anything for our kids, for our families, for our friends. I'm asking you, what will you do for our democracy? Will you promise to recruit 5 friends for the next event? Raise your hands if you're going to recruit 5 friends to come to the next event. That's right. So we're going to see you at Tesla. We're going to see you at the Hilton on June 14th. We're going to be marching in the Pride Parade. We will see you there. We have stuff going on every week. There are things happening. We need you to come out. Please make sure you have connected with us and you're signed up for our newsletter. We want to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day, and we want you to march with us. We have armbands if you want one. We have some drummers. We're going to just congregate over there and walk onto the sidewalk. We're going to cross the bridge, go down in front of COSI, cross back over the Broad Street Bridge, and then come back down here. It's not a very long march, but it's important. It's to symbolize that we will not tolerate this nonsense in America and this fear and the breaking of our democracy. So I want to thank everybody who was here today, our speakers, our musicians, the folks doing the live stream. We had someone come down with a drone from Cleveland. Thank you so much. Thank you to the people the sign language interpretation, the people who had the music and the sound system. If you haven't signed the petitions yet, you have one more chance to do it. We will see you next time. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. Woo!